Week 1 of the NBA season was an absolute crazy ride. We had absolute chaos from the very first day until today on Sunday, and the grind just doesn't stop. Week 2 is already off to a shocking start with the bombshell news that we received today that Luka Doncic is going to be out for the next week, dealing with a finger sprain and a left leg bruise. That's a massive blow for anyone who has Luka on their team, but it also opens up the door for some pretty big fantasy shakeups when it comes to the Lakers. And welcome back to The Corner, your number one spot for everything fantasy basketball related. Today, we're bringing down the 5 best waiver wire ads to kick off your week and give you that early edge over everyone else in your league. But before we dive in, if you want to stay ahead of your competition all season long, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a rankings video, a start sit guide, or even a sleeper pick or two. Every move counts in fantasy, so lock in now and let's get into the video. First up on this week's list, we have Keldon Johnson, and honestly, Keldon Johnson should already be on your roster if you've been following along with my content. He was one of the people who I mentioned before that is going to be on a back-to-back going from Sunday to Monday. So if you were able to do that, congratulations. I believe he dropped around like 30-ish fantasy points tonight, and I should expect the same thing tomorrow as well with the Spurs. The Spurs are currently on a tear starting off the season 3-0, and they are just feeding off of Wemby's dominance right now. I believe he dropped another like 80 or 90 point fantasy point night tonight. It's honestly crazy what Wemby is doing right now to the NBA. And thanks to Wemby's dominance, it's starting to open up the doors for other people to get involved in the offense and on the defense, which is great for Keldon Johnson. With the amount of injuries that are happening right now in San Antonio, Keldon Johnson is reaping in all the benefits. He is attacking confidently, he's playing heavy minutes every single day, and he looks locked in as the team's secondary scoring option right now. If you already picked him up thanks to my last video, just hold him in through till Monday and enjoy the production that you'll be getting. If not, he's a great short-term streamer for the early part of the week. I would grab him now, ride the back-to-back value, and then consider flipping him after Monday's games to open up that roster spot, and then try your best to pick him up again before Thursday's game. I would not consider holding him Tuesday and Wednesday just because that's a waste of opportunities for other games that are going on throughout the week. Next up, let's talk about the Chicago Bulls, who have quietly started the season 2-0 as well, and are finally finding a rhythm on the offensive side of the ball. With Kobe White missing and still nursing that calf injury that he received during the summer, the Bulls have been forced to look elsewhere for scoring. And the two names that have stepped up in a big way was Trey Jones and Kevin Huerter. Both of these guys are flying under the radar in most leagues, with Trey Jones only being rostered in about 20% of ESPN leagues, and Kevin Huerter is shockingly available in 95% of leagues. So if you want him, you can go out and get him right now for free. That's an opportunity that you just flat out can't ignore. And Kevin Huerter has been seeing extended minutes and showing flashes of his old form when he was in Sacramento. He's confident shooting the ball, has solid spacing, and he's very smart when it comes to ball movement. All of this translate well for fantasy production, which is the most important thing what we're talking about here on this channel. Another wrinkle to keep in mind here is that Josh Giddey did hurt his finger last week, and his status for the week is still uncertain. As of now, he's day-to-day with the finger sprain, and if it's confirmed that he's going to be missing any time at all this week, both Kevin Huerter and Trey Jones instantly become must roster players for the week. Their usage and scoring volume is going to explode this week, giving them short-term fantasy value that could swing an entire matchup. So if you're looking for early week pickups with potential to pop, these two are perfect streamers with low risk, high reward options who could fill the gap while the Bulls continue to lean on their secondary scores. Okay, now this one I'm actually really excited to talk about. Trey Johnson. I've mentioned this rookie once before in another video. I also made a post about him here on my channel earlier today, and he rewarded that again with another amazing output. This rookie is off to an amazing start to start off his NBA career. And honestly, this rookie class that we just got this year may have been the best rookie class that we have gotten in a while, because there are a lot of really good talented players who just went under the radar compared to the counterparts. But this right now is going to be my official declaration that Trey Johnson is a must roster player in every single fantasy format. Johnson has been one of the few bright spots when it comes to the Wizards this year. And honestly, the Wizards have been doing well for the youth movement, but there's still some growing pains. Trey Johnson has dropped 30 plus fantasy points in every single game to start off this year. What makes Trey Johnson not only so exciting is that he's doing this while still having a ton of room to grow. There's still more to his game that he hasn't been able to unlock yet. He's shooting right around 50%, a little bit under 50% from the field, and putting up solid scoring numbers. But what's impressive is that he's not even contributing heavily in assists or even steals yet. Once those categories start coming around and he starts getting better with facilitating to his teammates, his ceiling jumps even higher. We're only 3 games in, and he's already looking like the best point guard that they have in Washington. When you compare him to the other options guards on this roster, it's not even close. Bud Carrington has been absolutely terrible to start off the year so far. He's struggled to find consistency, while Johnson's role and confidence are clearly trending up game by game. Washington's rotation is still fluid, but Johnson is emerging as their best guard option, and it's easily become a weekly lock in my fantasy lineups. He's currently only rostered in about 13% of ESPN leagues, so the window to grab him is closing fast. Do not wait for your league to catch on and then you try to make trades. Add him now while he's still available and enjoy what could be one of the early breakout stories of this year. And speaking of another potential breakout candidate, Cedric Coward. And this is a player that I mentioned before the season even started, and then last week I mentioned him again, and then he has been breaking out game by game by game. Cedric Coward has been on an absolute tear to start off the season, and it's one of the best storylines in both the NBA and fantasy basketball right now. The rookie has completely shocked everyone, becoming one of the most added players across all platforms this week. On Tuesday, when the season started, he was rostered in about 2% of ESPN leagues, and now he is closing in on 30% across the board. If he's somehow still available in your league, you need to go pick him up immediately. He is a must roster player. But with all the good things that are going around him and everything I've said about him that honestly keeps me hyped, now let's be realistic. His current shooting numbers are just 100% unsustainable. He's hovering around 70% shooting from the field, which will inevitably cool off. But even when it does, he's proven enough to show he's going to be a viable fantasy asset all season long. The Grizzlies have a 4-game week coming up this week, giving him plenty of chances to keep producing. And even if he does regress back to the mean, which is more than likely going to happen, he should still average around 20-ish fantasy points a night, which is great production for the bottom half of your roster. This isn't a short team streamer anymore. At this point, I would not consider dropping him because you might not get him back, but this is a potential end of season stud. If you're serious about staying ahead of your league, do not overthink it. Add Cedric Coward now to your roster and ride their wave for the rest of the season and enjoy one of the breakout stories of this early half of the year. Next up, we have Isaiah Collier, and still he has not played a game yet this year, but he is expected to return next week. If he does come back from this hamstring injury, it's going to shake up the entirety of the Utah Jazz's backcourt, and his comeback is going to have a major impact on both real basketball and in fantasy. With his return, he is going to more than likely be shifted back into the starting point guard role, which is going to move Keontae George back to the bench and more than likely give Walter Clayton Jr. just straight up garbage time minutes, where he's averaging maybe 10 to 15 minutes a game. Isaiah Collier pretty much has the court to either win the job back or lose his job. Now, Collier is not an explosive scorer in the NBA, or at least he hasn't shown us that yet. But he's one of those guards who can quietly fill up the box score with double-digit points and assists on any given night. His floor is high because of his passing volume, and Utah's offense clearly runs smoother when he's in control of the ball. Right now, he's only stashed in about 22% of ESPN leagues, so there's still time to get out ahead of the curve. If he's available in your league, do not wait until the Utah Jazz is an official announcement that he is cleared to play. I would go pick him up now, add him to your IR, and wait until that announcement does come out. Getting Isaiah Collier early could be one of those midseason pickups that absolutely gives you ahead of the curve due to his assist numbers. That's going to be all for me today. These 5 waiver wire pickups should give you the edge you need to win your matchup this week. Remember, the key to fantasy basketball is to stay flexible, keep an eye on the schedule, and always take advantage of the best matchups. Thanks for stopping by the corner. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.